Well, to be quite honest with you, the coaching gig, people don't realize the time and the amount of time that you need to do this. It's truly a job that takes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You cannot you can't take time off. That's my opinion if you really want to do this at a high level. And I kind of missed a little bit of the flexibility to be able to spend more time with the kids, to be able to go away with maybe the family on a fall break, to do more family things, to be more present as a father, as a husband, for my family back in America. Those things it's tough to do when you're a coach. So I started to think how deep do I want to get into this? So I had to reflect on those things. When I decided to come back into it, it came into it with a short-term mentality. I told the owner Martin, look, Martin, I'll come in and help you out for the rest of this season, and I will guarantee you that I'll be here for next season. I'm not guaranteed for anything after this year. So I really I want to give everything I got to this season for these players and for the club to build this back up and to being very competitive. We've created a really good community in our club, which is what I love about this club. And so I feel very spoiled here to be back in a place, like you said, they give me the freedom to, make mistakes. They know what they get from me. So I'm in a great situation. I know that. I do have, my heart is in this for the right reasons. I'm not coming back to Limburg to just take a year and leave. No, I want to do everything I can this year. We brought back Coach Mitch. Because I wanted to make sure that if the day comes I decide to do something else or move on, maybe go back to the States, et cetera, that they have a great assistant coach and Coach Mitch. They have Coach Ray, who's grooming to be an excellent head coach. So I think that I can only help continue building on the foundation here and start building it back up the way how we were building it before I'd left, because we really were going in a great direction. I don't know yet what we got because it's still a little bit early and they're super young. 3 rookies, one guy is only 1 year out, and then the 2 other guys are only 2 years out. So all our foreigners are really young. Now, what do we have on the other side is our Belgians are really experienced with Max, Niels, Wen, and then you add in some younger guys. You have Nathan. All right, you have Leander, you have Sammy, who's coming from Charleroi, another young guy. So we have a great balance there of some hungry, young, huge potential Belgians with some experienced Belgians that have been there, done that. I really like that mix.
But it's too early to talk about the ambition for this year.
Well, I think the ambition's simple. I really believe that we put together a team that can compete and possibly win something, maybe a cup. I'd be dreaming to say that we can maybe make a finals of the competition and fight for a championship. Being able to get to the finals and fight for either one of those two would be, I think, a great ambition and step for the club.
But I think something that's really important in the Belgian competition, if you see who has had the success over the past few years, it's Oostende, that's clear. But what they have that others don't, in my opinion, is continuity.
Correct. Yeah.
And you tell that you really want to do that here in Limburg, and you were on your way doing that in Limburg to create that continuity. So my question would be then, why did you leave?
Yeah, that's a great question, and the answer simply is ambition. I wanted to see what it was like to be in a bigger organization where I wasn't really good friends with the owner, where I wasn't really good friends with the head sponsor, where I didn't have the leverage that I have here. I wanted to feel pressure like I've never felt before, and now that I felt it, it's been a great growing experience for me. I usually use the term of it was the best, worst experience of my life.
Do you feel like you've became a better coach after
100%, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't have grown the way I have over the last 2 years if I didn't take this step. So without question, it wasn't a mistake to leave. Looking back on it, you're 100% correct, Steph. I without question, I could have continued to build, and maybe we'd be in a different situation right now. So in one way, that's a pity because I may have lost 2 years there. But from a personal standpoint, the growth was really good for me. I think I couldn't have got that same growth if I stayed here. We need to create an identity in basketball in Belgium. What is our identity? When I see Israel play, I see an identity. I see them switching all ball screens, full court pressing and different presses. I see them playing a certain style with inside outside bigs. Like there's an identity and a style, and they do it since the moment they start playing basketball in U12 to U14 to U16 to U18. And by the time they're U20, these kids are really, really good, and they're really good in that identity, and they're hard to beat. You know, I mean, take a country like Finland. Look how good they're doing. They've been doing this for the last 10 years where everybody's coaching the same identity, the same style. It's not you have a defensive transition, defensive scheme, and you have a different one, and you have a different one. No. This is what we teach in Belgium. You're coaching that, and I'm coaching that, so that by the time those kids are 16, 18, 20 years old, they know it, and they're really good at it, and we're better. And our, you know, I think that has to start at the top, and I think people want to do that, but I think I don't know if the egos of coaches are going to get too big, where it's like, well, I have my system. Well, I think we need to adopt a Belgian style system, and until that happens, I don't think anybody can make an impact, and it has to start at the top. Because I see very clearly that there is potential.
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential, and we need to start to develop those kids. So, for example, you have a 33-year-old guy who's played in the league a long time, but, you know, he's not really that big of an impact on your team. Like, why take him?
Yeah.
Why not take the 18-year-old kid who probably has way bigger upside, and maybe in year one he's not going to be as effective as that 33-year-old, but he'll be close. He'll give you some, you know, different intangibles because of his youth and his legs and his athleticism. But 3 years from now, that kid's going to be way better than the 36-year-old, you know. Why don't we start investing in those guys? I see it clearly that has to change. You know, unless you have guys like I'm very fortunate where, you know, take Wen Boss Mugabu. He's our captain, and he's going to have a huge impact on my team. So that's a different story. But we have three guys who are U20. Two guys are U20. We have Sammy, who just got out of U20 only 2 years ago, who are going to have an impact on our team. And we have a second team in which about the majority of those players are 19, 18, 17 years old, who will practice with us and hopefully will be our future Belgian players.
Let's hope.
No, I mean, that's the goal. We have to develop these guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I said, it still surprised me that nobody sees what's happening in Belgium. They see the success of Oostende, and the success of Oostende is continuity, but also the continuity of youth development. You can argue that they will bring the most talented guys together, of course. But still, they do the work.
Yeah. What's the only thing I think in Oostende, they have such I don't want to say a pressure but they are the king of our league, so they want to stay the king of our league. So they can't. Oostende, it's not Oostende's responsibility to play, in my opinion, Tim Lombrix when he's 19 years old. It's not. It's Oostende's responsibility to loan him out and give him to a team like us or to Liège or to Leuven and say, play this guy for the next 2 years. We have him on a 5-year deal. We'll take him when he's ready to help us win championships. I think that's the difference. So I don't blame Oostende for not playing the young guys, because their objective is to win, you know, unless they have someone really, really special. But they have to win. They want to compete for Champions League. They want to win the league. I think it's the lower teams that are screwing this up. You know, when take for example, two of the most talented kids that I saw on the younger teams, on the youth teams, were AJ Mitchell, who was on my team, and Harris Brontanovich on the U20, who should have been on our team as well, but they needed him for the U20. Both guys are leaving Belgium.
Yep.
This is an absolute tragedy for our league. And I'm sorry, I don't want to be dramatic here, but if you want these Belgian kids to stay, someone sign them and give them a real opportunity. Yeah. I'm a fan of it because it gets more teams in the league. You know, to be able to break the season up into home and away only once, you know, or let's say 2 rounds, would be ideal, you know, and still be able to get in 26, 28 games with the playoffs and the cup and be perfect. If we can figure that out, I think that'd be great. I mean, people complain about, but Groningen's 5.5, 6 hours away. Like, guys, like in Germany, they got to go 8, 9, 10 hours.
Yeah, so, exactly, yeah.
So I don't think we should ever complain about this. We're in a good situation where everything's pretty close within 6 hours range. We should make it happen. I really do think that would help. we got a lot of work. I mean, they have a lot of those players back. They have some young guys, but the most important thing for us is that we should go with our young guys with a mentality of we have nothing to lose. Let's go out and play really hard. Let's start to play our basketball. If we win, that's a great win. If we lose, what do we do wrong? What can we do better? What are the things that we did well? Let's build on that as well, and just take it from a learning standpoint. But I think we have some real competitive guys, so I don't think that we're going to go in there with a mindset of like, well, we'll see what happens. I think we're going to go in the mindset like we're going to take our best shot.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes.
Well, we wish you all the best today, and of
Yes.
course in the first game against Oostende.
Thank you.
We thank you for your time
Anytime.
today.
Thanks for having me.
Good luck in the season.